دایی یه فرصت خوب حالا پشت مدافعان خداداد عزیزی توی دروازه گل برای ایران خداداد عزیزی باز هم روی زمین گشت سردار آزمون به توی دروازه سردار آزمون گل به نام آزمون و برای ایران
بزنه کریم یزدانی توی دروازه کریم یزدانی دروازه پرتغال باز شد
علی دایی سام توپ توی دروازه
اشتباه حرکت از کوچان نژاد فرصت برای کوچان نژاد توی دروازه گل برای ایران.
کوتاه 1-2 کرد علی جهان خودش سانتر از او تیر 2 این ضربه سر عالی و تیر دروازه و حالا تور کوکا مهدی طارمی گل زد. پسر بوشهری فوتبال ایران باز هم نشون میده که تو محوطه جریمه فقط اونه که راه دروازه رو بلده. یکیش به نفع ایران.
Welcome back to Bezan podcast. My name's Arya Allahverdi. Today I'm really pleased to be joined by my two good friends, Sina from podcast Radio Offside and Mohammed Ardalani from YouTube show Tupotak. Good to have you both back on the podcast, guys. How are you both doing?
Hi, Arya. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be on Gholizadeh again. And I'm really excited to talk about Team Milad. And I really appreciate that you try to have at least one Sina in each of your episodes. That's really good.
Yeah, perfect. Mohammed, how you doing, man?
Yo, Arya, John. I hope everyone's well. Thank you for bringing me on the show again. Just can't wait to start.
I appreciate that. Guys, make sure you subscribe to both the great shows that these two men have. Guys, today's episode is going to be an analysis of Iran versus UAE, which ended 1-0 to Team Milad at an empty Azmoun Stadium. Goal coming from Mehdi Taremi. Guys, let's get straight into it. You know, pretty simple. We've qualified for the World Cup now. We're still top of the group. Next match is against South Korea and Seoul. But this game was a very difficult one. We got a red card, early in the second half. The lineup was a bit of a surprise overall. All the players were the same from the previous game against Iraq, except one change. Gholizadeh got a suspended yellow card accumulation. So Noorafkan came in as a surprise for this match. A lot of surprise on social media. Everyone thought Siavash Yazdani from Istiqlal would start this match, but Noorafkan got the start. Everyone else was the exact same as the Iraq game. Guys, first impressions on the lineup, Sina?
Yeah, as you said, I think everyone was surprised when we see Noorafkan and Milad Mohammadi both on the pitch. But I mean, at the end, when we go back, we see that okay, Noorafkan had a very decent performance, although he wasn't his comfortable post, I think. And the rest, I mean, I understand that Skocic wanted to win, but I expected to have some rotation on the other roles as well, so we can see other players playing. But he wanted maybe to be safe, to go and just win this match as well. But still, I think although Noorafkan did well, I think this is still a question to Skocic, because I wasn't convinced with what he said in the press conference after the match. He just said that I'm happy with my decision. We had a plan for this match to use Noorafkan. The thing is, Noorafkan played instead of Shoja Khalilzadeh, as you mentioned. Shoja is not very good in the build-up from the back. We know that. But Noorafkan is. So you had a replacement for a player who has a very good passing abilities. So do you want to switch this from the next matches, or was it just for this match? So that's my question. What was the intention behind it that you didn't use any of your three center backs on the bench? So when you have three center backs and when you have called them up, and specifically Siavash Yazdani, when you have him on all of the training camps, you're giving a signal to them that I don't trust you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then, I mean, I heard some rumors. We've seen this in different medias that they've reported. There are some tensions between Kanaani and Yazdani, and they don't talk to each other in the trainings. I mean, okay, they don't talk with each other. I can understand that. They don't get along with each other. One is from Istiklal, the other is from Persepolis. I mean, he has been playing in Persepolis. You know that it has been similar situations, for example, in England national team. I can understand that. But if that is the situation in the longer run, it's like a ticking bomb to me. So if Skocic doesn't want to use Yazdani at all, then I don't see a reason to call him up.
Yeah, I think what I gathered from it was very much the fact that it could be that Yazdani realistically, if we have everyone fit for the World Cup, isn't going to be in the squad. That's I think a reality. I don't think he will make the squad. I think probably Ganji, Majid, Hosseini, Gholizadeh and Kanaani will be the 4 centre backs if we have them fit. Hopefully we do. I don't think Yazdani will make it in that regard. And I believe that the potential reason that he did start Noorafkan was because ultimately he knows that Noorafkan will go for a fact, and he wants to stick with players that he knows are going to be in the team, for sure. So it could be that reason. Mohammed, what do you think?
Well, just to touch base on what Sina said, I really agree on what he said. But there's one thing that I wanted to let you know, even regarding when you said Yazdani should have started, I completely agree. He's been training there for a good week. It's now against UAE. He wants to obviously get the 3 points, and obviously we are always trying to say if we try to get our points and beat Korea as well, we get to pot 2. And if we get pot 2, it's an easier draw. But everyone knows whenever we say we're going to get an easy draw, we get the hardest group in the World Cup. But even the same thing happened. I also spoke to Arya about this last week. Before the Iraq game, I believe Karim Benzema should have started, because even though Taremi is a better player, we all know that he's playing in Europe. He's having a phenomenal year at Porto. I believe Karim Benzema should have started because he was there training with the rest. But then Taremi comes. I believe everyone's saying he came to Tehran, I believe, on the same day in the morning. I believe he should have came in the second half, but obviously he scored, and the rest is history. But regarding the Yazdani thing, is the same situation. He's telling the players we don't want to create drama in the team in Milli, and we all know Iran national team create drama for themselves. Just like what Sina said, also it's not just Kanaani, it's also Shuja Gholizadeh. If you remember Yazdani, Shuja, they've been having like big problems when Sepahan
Exactly
were playing. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I think what Skocic needs to do is allow these players to play and show themselves. But yeah, completely understand. But with the lineup, I completely agree with everything except probably Noorafkan should have started left back, because Moharrami, oh boy, I don't understand what happened to him, because I thought he would have been coming to Leeds United 2-3 years ago, because I thought he can play.
In Mohammadi or Moharrami? Milad Mohammadi.
Milad Mohammadi.
Okay, yeah.
I thought he was amazing 2-3 seasons ago, honestly. But now I don't understand, since what happened to his club. He just basically terminated his contract out of nowhere, which I don't understand. But now I'm kind of understanding why, because he's not the same Milad that we know.
Yeah, Milad's having a tough time, right now. I've said on the previous podcasts, he's not going for a good spell in his career. I think, although when he went to AEK, there was some optimism because he was going to be a starter, and he has been a starter this season for AEK, and he hasn't actually been too bad. But towards the end of his spell at Ghent in the Belgian league, he was going for a very tough patch. He wasn't playing well, and the Greek league isn't at a great standard. It's not a particularly strong league overall compared to other leagues in Europe. And I think Noorafkan has taken his spot there. I really do. I think people will maybe disagree with me, but I think Noorafkan has done quite well when he's played. I don't know why you would criticize him too much. He's not really made many defensive errors. He's made a couple, but not as many that I can remember. And then Milad, yeah, you're right. In this game, like the amount of he just cleared the ball every single time. He couldn't get a pass right. He couldn't get a pass right at all. Every forward pass was just going to the goalkeeper or out the pitch. It wasn't good enough from him, if I'm being honest with you. But we got through it. Let's speak about also, just to make just a correction on what you said, Mohammed. I think Taremi he didn't arrive for this match. He arrived before the Iraq game in the morning. I think it was what we were trying to allude to. But let's just go to the first half performance. What did you guys think of it?
The first half was pretty much dull. I'll say, even though when we scored the goal, I don't know, the way we were playing, the passes wasn't great. Even like I said, Milad Mohammadi, there was a couple of times that it was a pretty simple pass he could give to literally anyone. He would just give it. Basically, the passes were, I don't understand. We don't make these kind of mistakes in terms of international level. And regarding the team performance, I think it was pretty much dull. We didn't show how we played against Iraq. Against Iraq, the first 10 minutes, like I said to Arya last week, we played really bad. But then after 10 minutes, we showed ourselves. We were attacking. Against UAE, it was a bit of a different story. It was not what I expected. But in the end, it was getting better until Moharrami made that silly tackle.
Yeah.
We can go through what happened with Moharrami after this.
Yeah, for sure. Sina, obviously in the first half, we scored the goal. Taremi got the goal and ultimately, put us in the lead just before halftime. But up until then, we weren't really creating many chances. It was quite, as Mohammed says, it was a little bit dull. It was a little bit labor. It was laboring. It wasn't going anywhere really. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, we are relying too much on the dynamics between the guys up front. I mean, still, Jahanbakhsh was really good. I mean, not as good as he was against Iraq. But I mean, we could have seen that they had a lot of rotations with Gholizadeh. So we could have seen that when Jahanbakhsh is going to the right and Gholizadeh going to the left, that's the time that we can create chances. And exactly that was the way that we scored the goal. But I think as I said, we are relying too much on Taremi, because if you again watch the first half, you can see that Taremi is dropping a lot, and then you don't have anyone up front. So I mean, I don't think that in the longer run we will play with one striker. We still will go back to use both Taremi and Azmoun. But I think this was a really good test in the past 4 matches that we either didn't have Taremi or Azmoun, that how we can play with one striker. I mean, we had the times that we struggle when we have one of the striker up front. So when Taremi dropped back and to help the others, I think we were lacking players up front. And I think that was the issue.
Yeah, I think we made a lot of mistakes though, especially in the middle. Izzatullah, he gave away a couple of silly passes then.
Yeah, definitely.
Just getting through, Moharrami going on runs when he really shouldn't be. I thought Noorafkan and Kanaani played really well throughout the full match. I thought they were probably our 2 best players, Kanaani and Noorafkan. I think they played really well together. They kept it really solid at the back. Didn't really make too many mistakes. Didn't give the ball away too much. Abedzadeh, for me, had a really good game. We'll come on to him in a minute. The goal itself, I want to speak about that. Godus played quite an influential part in it. He linked up with Jahanbakhsh. Jahanbakhsh crossed it in. Gholizadeh header off the post, and then you had the rebound from Taremi with his left foot. And we didn't really see a lot of that, to be honest. We saw some of it towards the end of the game, but we didn't see much of it overall. Mohammed, what do you think of the goal?
Oh, the goal was pretty good. I like the way Jahanbakhsh interchanged, passed and gave it through. And obviously with the goal, obviously people are saying it was a very good goal, but obviously I think was it Gholizadeh that headed the ball, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think he should have done better there. I think
Agree.
He should have done better and he should have scored. But if he didn't, probably the game would have finished 0-0. But the goal was pretty good. I really like the goal.
I think we have another similar chance in the first half when they had a similar combination, which ended up with Gholizadeh shooting from, but it was out wide. I think it was a similar link-up play between all the players, and Godus had a critical role on that as well. But yeah, as you said, it was just one or two like that in the first half and not that much in the second half.
And then coming on to the second half, of course, quite early on, we had a red card for Moharrami, double yellow card, of course. Went for a tackle that really shouldn't be making, a very heavy touch. He tried to get to the ball. He didn't. And just careless, not thinking in that situation, just being too eager. And yeah, I think careless is pretty much the word to use there, just not being careful with the situation. Got the red card, put Iran under pressure. However, I think under pressure is maybe a little bit of an obvious statement. I don't think we were really under pressure as much as we maybe think we were. I don't think Iran really had too much threat. Just quickly speak about the UAE team. Overall, just before we get to the red card, UAE did not capitalize on their situation. They really didn't. They didn't do anything in this game, to be honest with you. You created a couple of chances, but Abedzadeh was pretty safe in goals.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, as you said, Skocic also talked that we were under the pressure, and although we were kind of like under the pressure, we had a lot of good chances in the second half as well. But I agree with you. I mean, we had a low block, almost a low block, but yeah, we didn't give any chances at all to UAE. Yeah. So I think it was a good performance in that sense in a defensive phase. So there's no talk about it, I guess.
And then on the red card, Mohammed, just talk me through it.
With Moharrami, around 2 years ago, I told everyone he needs to be Iran's right back. And obviously, since it's been now, I believe, nearly a year or two that he's been starting as a right back for Iran. He makes a lots of risks, whether if he has the ball, is he out of position, in possession. So like you just saw, careless, like Arya said, exactly. Even against, obviously, these oppositions like Iraq, UAE, they're not standards like what we want to go to the World Cup. So if he makes these kind of decisions, such as having the ball, trying to take on players, I think he should stop doing that. He should start playing with the ball and stop making these silly, careless decisions. But regarding him, I believe he's the best choice for Iran. We don't have any other options, I'll say. I believe Ardalani is too young. He doesn't have the experience at this level. Moharrami has been playing European football, Champions League football, Europa League football. So he's still the man to be the right back for Iran, but he needs to work on his defensive attributes and take less risks.
I think we've got a fan question here from at Pickup for Life 10. He said, should Moharrami be replaced with another right back because his performance was bad? And then another question we got from at Persian Predicts. He asks, surely Daniel Esmaili Far, who is the Iranian league's best right back, should get a chance to play. Sina, what do you think of that?
I think it would be best if you comment on Esmaili Fal yourself, because you know it better than me. But in terms of replacing Moharrami, I agree with Mohammed that he's the best in terms of what we have, but it doesn't mean that we should be satisfied with it, because in the past 5 matches, if you put the match against Iraq aside, in which he was phenomenal, he was really good. In the other 4 matches, he had one big mistake in each of them. And you can't rely on a player like that for the World Cup. And then the worst part, I think, is that when he was sent off, we treated his absence like that we have lost the goalkeeper. We immediately had a change, and we bring in another right back, and we change the formation. It was totally like that we have lost the goalkeeper. And the problem here is that we don't have any other players on the pitch that have the ability to play on the right back. Right. If we lose our left back, for example, if we lose Milad Mohammadi, then we have Omid Noorafkan, we have Ehsan Haj Safi, and we have Vahid Amiri who can go to the left, right? But we don't have any other players on the right. So I can understand that Skocic cannot produce any players up until World Cup. But at least when we see that is the situation, maybe it's the best to try other players there in the training and see what we can do, because that's really terrifying. If we can go with this situation on our right back, it's very terrifying to me.
Well, let's put it this way. And against South Korea, which I think is going to be our hardest game away from home in Seoul, most likely we'll see Saleh Ardalani start in that match, and that'll be a test for him because, you know, pretty much every single game, I think except one where we had Jafar Salmani at right back, Moharrami started. So, you know, he has to show himself. If he wants to get to the World Cup, he has to show himself in that game. It's very important for him. The question that we got, obviously, for regarding Daniel Esmaili Far. Daniel Esmaili Far, when I used to watch him when he was at Zowan, when he went to Tiraktor, now he's at Sepahan. You know, I've watched him throughout his career. He's a very good technical player. He's rapid. He's probably, I'd say he's faster than Milad Mohammadi. And he's also a very good set piece taker. He's good at free kicks. He can have a shot at goal. You know, he used to even be a right winger at Zobohan at times, even at Tiraktor. Now he's playing it right back more often. For me, Daniel Esmaili Far isn't known for his defensive qualities. He's not any better than Moharrami defensively, you know, in my opinion, anyway. I think he's a good player. I do think he would be a good option, maybe to have on the bench. I don't think he is so much better defensively than Moharrami, if at all, that you would start him over Moharrami. I don't see that as the case. Obviously, there's a question of Amir. Of course, there is always going to be the question. I get it. I understand it. He was a fan favorite. He was at the previous World Cup and the previous 2 Asian Cups. He's done. As simple as that. I don't want to get into it. We've spoken about it a lot in the past. It's on social media. You can go and search about it. He's finished, as far as I'm concerned. Skocic already came out and said that he doesn't like him as a player. It's done. It's a done story. We need to move on. Ramin Rezaian is not going to get called up to the Iranian national team. That's a statement I'm going to make. Today's right backs are Moharrami, Ardalani, and potentially Daniel Esmaili Far, maybe Mojtaba Najarian. But other than that, we have to accept it. Hopefully, Moharrami does well this season for Dinamo Zagreb. We can see him progress a little bit further in his career. Remember, he's still a young player. If he does better, I'll be happy for him. But let's move on from this topic. Let's go to a positive. We had a fantastic performance again by Abedzadeh. A good point was brought up in the spaces by someone, I think it was Nima, who mentioned that, you know, we can't always give him credit because ultimately the teams that we're playing against aren't at a high level. He's not getting the opposition that he would get at the World Cup, sure. But I believe that Abedzadeh has given us a lot of security in these last 2 games. He's made us feel comfortable at the back, having him there, not just as a goalkeeper, but as a footballer, you know, with his passing abilities. Sina, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the bright side is that we have 2 good goalkeepers now. I mean, that they're competing with each other and we can rely on both of them. I mean, still, we shouldn't rule out Beiranvand. He has more experience than Abedzadeh in terms of playing in the national team. He had experience in playing the World Cup. So I think that's really good that we have both of them on the pitch. And as you said, Abedzadeh is really good. If you want to start building up from the back, he's really good. He's very good from passing the ball in the back. But also Beiranvand can start the matches with his kind of like look like a throw in and look like a long shot. So I mean, we have that option as well. But I think if Abedzadeh keeps playing like that in his club, and also his team gets the promotion to La Liga next season, and he also keeps playing in La Liga, I mean, that would be a huge difference in terms of the ability, in terms of the experience that he can get up until the World Cup. So I'm so happy that we have both of them, and I'm so happy that Abedzadeh is on the right path. But still, I think that we shouldn't rule out Beiranvand because of the experience, and also if we think that Skocic will go with Shoja and Kanaani for the rest, which I hope he doesn't, and he still think about Majid Hosseini and Mortaza Ali-Ganji, but still Beiranvand has been with those 2 guys for a longer time. So that's still a good option. But as I said, if Abedzadeh keeps playing like that for his club, it would be a very safe option for me.
Mohammed?
Firstly, let me say with Abedzadeh, his ball playing ability, it surprised me, to be fair. We never had a goalkeeper like him. If we go back to Mizapur, he was not really good with the ball. If we go back to Rahmati, if we go back to Rahman Ahmadi, all of these goalkeepers, they were not really good with the ball. He's a surprise. He is a very good goalkeeper, I believe. And regarding Beiranvand, I think he is technically Iran's best goalkeeper, but I tend to believe, obviously, this is my personal opinion, when you don't play for your club, this is why I think he made the wrong choice going to Portugal now. He should have been the club he should have went to should have told him, listen, you will be our first goalkeeper. I don't know, it's based on injuries, based on how he's doing in training or so on. He's not playing. So if he's not playing and you see another player who is doing really well, I don't know, today I saw that he's been linked with Sevilla in La Liga. Even if he's been linked to these kind of clubs in La Liga, say if he doesn't go, he'll go, people are talking about him in Spain. But with Beiranvand, I agree with Sina, he's got the experience behind him. But if you're not playing club football week in, week out, and you expect to start at the World Cup, that's going to leave a bit of a problem for me. And I believe Abedzadeh, this is time to actually showcase his skills and acquisition to obviously go further and be Iran's number one. But it's 50-50. If Beiranvand starts playing for his club every week, I think it's Beiranvand's. But if not, I'll give it to Abedzadeh.
I disagree. I think Abedzadeh, the current form he's in, I just don't think he's replaceable. I think it's tough to replace him. In my opinion, I think he's oozing confidence right now. I mean, his demeanor on the pitch, his leadership qualities at the back, I don't see it. But it could happen, because I think Beiranvand, as Sina said, is an incredible goalkeeper. He's got such a range of movement, and it could easily be his spot at the World Cup, or Amir. So we'll see. It's great to have two solid goalkeepers. And now, of course, you got Niazman, which is always a great third option. Okay, let's move on to our defense. In the middle, we had Kanaani and Noorafkan. Kanaani had a really good game. I think I have to give him more credit. I think, again, he's showing that, yes, he's more, he's doing better than we expected of him in these qualifiers. Mohammed?
Definitely. He's actually surprised me a bit. I didn't think he's this good, to be fair, because when he was a couple of years back, when he was playing against Uzbekistan, he was trying, Gholizadeh was giving him a chance when I believe he was playing for Istiqlal at that time. Obviously, he had a couple of bad
He was
injuries.
actually playing for Mashin Sazi at that time, if not mistaken.
Okay, then if he's playing for Mashin, he got a few injuries, niggles, and then when he went Persepolis, I didn't think he's going to do what he did at Persepolis, and now at Iran, he's performing really, really well. I believe he is right now Iran's best defender, because we haven't seen Majid Hosseini. I really am top in my eye of Majid Hosseini's ball playing ability, and what he did in the World Cup was phenomenal. But he's not been getting a chance as a surprise. But if Kanaani starts like this, I think he will be a starter, and probably Puri Ali Ganji with him.
Yeah, I think he had been in a good form in all of the matches that he played for us. And yeah, as Mohammed mentioned, he was Carlos Queiroz first choice in Asian Cup as well. Yeah, but I don't still like his morale in the team, in the group. But still, I believe that he should be a starter, and we should change his partner in defense. But I don't see that happening with what we saw already from Skocic in the last, 10 matches or so. Yeah. So because he didn't give a single chance to Majid Hosseini so far. I think he just played against Uzbekistan and Bosnia in the friendly matches 2 years ago.
I think he played the 45 minutes against Cambodia.
Exactly. Yeah. True. You're right. But as I said, I still think he would be the first choice. But yeah, as I mentioned, I don't like his morale in the team and all the controversies that he's causing.
Yeah,
it needs to be managed. I mean, I don't say that he shouldn't play because of that. I believe that it should be managed by the team and by the coach to prevent any things like that people start saying that they don't have there is no good chemistry between him and Yazdani because of everything that has happened. These are all the dramas that we don't want, as Mohammed said in the beginning of the pod.
Yeah, for sure. And I completely agree. Just before we go to fan questions, we've got a few more things we're going to speak about. First thing is left back situation. As we said at the start of the podcast, we're speaking about the lineup. Milad Mohammadi, I don't know. I just don't know if he's there right now. I think he's kind of struggling. Is Noorafkan the guy?
Yeah, with Noorafkan, 100%. When he first, I believe, started playing, I think it was against Iraq, but the first time when we beat them 3-0, that everyone was surprised.
Yeah.
Noorafkan playing a left back, even including me. With Milad, I thought obviously some injuries, him leaving his club, like I said, playing now in Greece, which is not a very competitive league compared to Belgium. I always thought Milad's place is still safe, but not now. Noorafkan, his ball playing ability is really impressive. He knows how to cut the midfield play and give good pass to our wingers. And he has a very, I don't know if you guys noticed, he has a very good connection with Amiri, Vaida Amiri.
Yes, definitely.
Very good. So they play really well with each other. But Milad, oh boy, where can I start? The game, the game against UAE was, I don't know. I think he was the worst player on the pitch. Even Moharrami's mistake, I'll still say Milad Moharrami was not the Milad that I know. A couple years ago, like I said, I thought he can play in the Premier League with Leeds United. I don't know if he was linked with them or so on. I believe he could have went higher, but now I don't think he can even be on the plane to go to the World Cup.
Wow. Sina? Sina, also, what do you think of Mohammed Naderi?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I just watched 1 or 2 matches of him in Turkish Super League, but he was a really good player last season for Istiklal as well. I'm really surprised that he's not even getting called up. I mean, if Jafar Salmani was getting called up by Skocic before, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's so much better than Jafar Salmani at the moment, even though Salmani has been starter for Istiklal in the last season, but he doesn't have the quality to be in Team Melli, and I'm pretty sure now that he has a better form. But I completely agree. I mean, I think Noorafkan is the best left back that we have at the moment in comparison to the others. But I mean, as I said in the middle of the pod, we had other options if we misses him due to some injuries or suspension or anything like that. The only thing that I'm a little bit doubtful about him is his anger management, because we've seen before that, specifically in Persian League, that sometimes he loses his control, he gets into the fights, that he might get some yellow card and red card. I think in the first leg against Iraq, or it was against UAE, the same situation happened as well. He's getting better and better, but still I'm a little bit doubtful about that from that perspective. So if he gets better in that sense, I think he would be the best choice at the moment.
What I really like about Noorafkan is how much he's actually improved as a footballer, because you look at him when he was playing for the U23s for Iran, he was the captain for that team. He wasn't so good. He was good, but he wasn't like outstanding. But now you look at him for Sepahan, he's at left back now. He's not only has he matured as a footballer, but he's become so well-rounded as a footballer as well. You know, now he's playing in centre back for the national team in a World Cup qualifier. He's doing well. I think he's become a much, much better player overall. I think left back really suits him. I don't know if he was really that suited for a midfield role so much. The way he plays at left back, I really think really suits him. Naderi could come in for Milad Mohammadi. I could see that happening. But yeah, I think Noorafkan will move in the summer. I think Noorafkan will get a European summer move. Charleroi didn't work for him, but I think this time around, I think he'll do well in a European league. Last point I want to make is regarding Gholizadeh, who, let's be honest, he had a really poor performance in this game. You know, he didn't do badly in the first half. He was okay here and there. Obviously, he was involved in the goal, but especially towards the end of the second half, towards the end of the match itself, I don't know, he just seemed a little bit distant from the players. He was being a little bit selfish. He was being a little bit annoying, to be honest with you, in some aspects. He wasn't passing the ball to Taremi. Yes, he has the skills. I mean, look, that chance when he was running past everyone, he did a couple of skills and then he went through and his shot went over the bar. He should have passed, but the skills were unbelievable. It's just the end product for him, really. I think he has everything. It's just he needs to be a bit more patient with the way he plays. I think he wants to rush things. He wants to do too much sometimes. What do you think, Sina?
I think he had he still had a good match. I think I don't see his
Yeah,
performance
he
as you
wasn't that
mentioned.
bad. Yeah, he wasn't that bad, but just not at the standard that we expect of him.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he had a good, even if you look at the data, he still had a good performance in that sense. But as you said, he missed a lot of chances. And I believe he was really pissed off that he missed that chance in the first half before the goal that we scored. So he just hit the bar, and then he was really pissed off that he didn't score. So he wanted to kind of like score the second goal himself. But I don't think that we should get away that easily, because he missed two big chances. Taremi assisted him at the last minute perfectly. He missed the sitter. That could have cost us points. And just try to remember what happened a couple of years ago in Champions League between Liverpool and Barcelona. That in the first leg, when Barcelona was ahead with 3 goals, and Ousmane Dembele missed a completely similar chance against Liverpool. And then in the second leg, they lost with 4 goals, and they were out of Champions League. If they have qualified from quarterfinal to semifinal and they could have become champion, maybe the whole narrative about Barcelona could have been changed. So what I'm saying is that all of these chances that you get are important. Even if you are qualified to the World Cup, you should train that. You should be you should have the responsibility for the whole team to use all of these chances. We don't get that many chances in the World Cup. We cannot we cannot be like that. Even Mehdi Taremi had a perfect chance that he missed. So I was really pissed off.
Oh, like I said, the header that he had when he hit the post, that he should have scored that. And unluckily, Mehdi Taremi scored the rebound. But I don't know about you guys, but Gholizadeh in the last couple of games that he's been playing for Iran, when he's been starting for Iran, sometimes he just I don't know where he is. Like he just ghosts. I don't know if you guys can send that. I don't know where he's playing. Like he's not there. But sometimes he just does magic, like you just said, Arya and Sina. He would just skill up 2-3 players. He would try go through 2-3 players and try, like against Syria, I believe he scored. I think he skilled up 2-3 players. He brought down 2 Syrians and scored, which was a phenomenal goal. But sometimes he's not there. Like that's what I feel like in a World Cup against a big opposition. Say if we play France, for example, I don't think we need that kind of player. We need more of an engine in the midfield.
You know,
like
you know,
Amir.
You know what he needs, Ali? He needs European higher standard football. He needs to go to a better league. It has to happen. The Belgian league, I think he's kind of getting away with things there, too easy for him. I think he has to go to a league where it's going to challenge him a little bit. You know, I just think when he plays against opposition that's too easy, he gets a bit too overconfident. I think that's the problem with him. I think when he goes to a league that's going to challenge him, it will be a different level for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. He should see what happens to Kavarazai. Kava he was phenomenal 2 or 3 seasons ago, and he stayed there, and you can see what happened to him. He doesn't even have any chances in Premier League. But about Gholizadeh, I think we have other good wingers as well. They should get the time to play.
Sayed Manish.
Exactly. He will come, and even we didn't have Mehdi Qaedi these 2 matches, but still I think Gholizadeh is becoming too comfortable in that position. He should be challenged with the other wingers. We have other players that can play there. So
I would love to see Al-Ayar start for Iran. I would love to see. I think he would do so well against some of these Asian teams. I think if we play against Lebanon in March, I'd love to see him play in that match. I think he would do unbelievably well. Last point I'm going to make.
Just one more point, sure. Arya. We should just give credit to Gholizadeh for the pass that he gave to Jahanbakhsh before the first goal. It was really good. It was like a diagonal pass. So I should think that we should give credit.
As I said, I don't think he had a bad game. I just think overall we expected a little bit better from him. You know, I want to see him go to a higher level in football as well. But okay, let's move on to the last topic before we go to fan questions. Just briefly, guys, not going to spend too much time on this. Azmoun to Leverkusen. I want to get your thoughts.
Oh, it's a good move, definitely. He's going to Germany. Look, I have a lot of English friends, I'll say foreign friends who are not Iranian. Every year I used to tell them, this is his year. This is his year, guys. He's going. He's gonna go to a better league. And every time they say, "Oh, okay, let's see now," and then finally, now he's in Germany. I'm happy. Look, the team that he's gone to, they're gonna play Champions League football next year, which is good. He wants to play in the Champions League, but I think he should have played with a better. I think he could have went to a better team because he's doing a pre-contract, so he
Really?
can.
Like
I
who?
think- Look, I don't understand why other clubs, like I'll give you an example. AC Milan.
Oh, AC Milan not going to sign him. I'm an AC
No, but
Milan fan. I guarantee you that.
okay, but he's for free. Like you're not paying any. Like obviously, I believe in the summer, Bayer Leverkusen wanted 17 million. They bid it or 15 million. They're not paying a penny. They're obviously just paying for the agent fees and all that. But
Yeah.
I feel that he should have went. I'm
The
just giving you an
club,
example.
the
AC
club
Milan.
the club that you got linked with quite heavily was Juventus, but I just don't think he would have done much. I don't think he would have played there. I'm being honest with you. I really don't. I don't think he would have played over Morata. And Morata's having a good season in Serie A. I just
But
don't
do you
think.
think? Would you think he will play at Bayer Leverkusen because they got a
Yeah, I
phenomenal
do.
striker?
I
They
think he
got
will.
a phenomenal striker.
I think the Bundesliga is a very good league for him. I think he will progress in his career. I think he will improve as a footballer. And yes, like Patrick Schick will push him, but I think he'll push him just enough. You know, I think he'll put. I just think Allegri as a manager wouldn't have got the best out of him, but I think Leverkusen as a club will get the best out of him. I think Patrick Schick will just be a little bit enough competition to get the best out of Azmoun. Sina?
No, I think he made a good choice because I agree with Mohammed that it would be very exciting for us to see him playing in Serie A with Juventus or Milan. But I think mentally he was prepared to go to Germany from the summer. I got a feeling that he was in contact with them even from the summer. And I think so he was prepared. Going to Milan or Juventus was just something that happened maybe 2 weeks ago that Juventus tried to sign a striker. So I think he was mentally prepared to go to Germany. And I still think it's a good move. Although Patrick Schick is in a good form, and I don't see that he will replace him. But I think Lucas Alario will leave Leverkusen at the end of the season. So as sporting director of Leverkusen mentioned, they didn't buy him to be a replacement for Schick. They want to use both of them. And also remember that Florian Wirtz is playing phenomenal for Leverkusen. Just imagine having him behind you up there. He would create a lot of chances for him, I think. So I'm really excited to see him next season. I don't think he will play that much this season, maybe, because it takes time for him to adapt, probably. And it's a very important season for Leverkusen because they want to get back to Champions Leagues. But I think now it's up to him. He just has to prove himself. This is the chance for him.
100%. Okay, fan questions, guys. Only gonna go for a couple. We're kind of running out of time now. We had one question that was quite interesting from at J Bagastan. He asked, we talk about the other teams that are not challenging. You know, we're winning comfortably against these teams like UAE, Lebanon, for example. But we're playing comfortably. We aren't winning 3 or 4-0. You know, we're only winning by small margins. Why is that?
Well, I think we talked a little bit about the situation that we don't score goals and we don't use our opportunities. I think if we have, I mean, specifically against Iraq, we had a lot of chances that we missed. But still, we had good results against Syria, against Iraq in the first leg. And yeah, we are. This has been the case even in when we had Carlos Queiroz. We win with 1 goal or 2 goal margins. But I think the most important thing is that against these teams, at least we don't give that much opportunity to them. So It doesn't matter if we go with 1-0 or 2-0. So that's not important that much. But we should see how we can play against other Asian big teams like Japan or Saudi Arabia if we get the chance to play against them, and also in the other friendly matches like against any African team. But I don't argue that much against this, that we don't win with that many goals. We should still use our opportunities. We should score when we have the opportunity. But since we don't concede any goals, I'm happy.
We got a question very quickly from at one_army. He asks regarding Praliganji and Salmani. Prali Ganji is back. He'll be back for the next camp, hopefully. Yasin Salmani, I think he'll be back as well. So we'll see what happens. Also, we got a question here regarding the federation, regarding the friendlies. Mohammed, what do we have to do from here to November?
Oh, it's pretty basic.
The question comes from at K Amir Soni.
Well, it's pretty basic because we're gonna have to play against better oppositions. I don't know, but every time we go to the World Cup, we play against Lithuania, I believe. I think if it was Lithuania, we should not play against these kind of teams. The teams, all right, we're not going to get the chance to play against the France, the Englands, the Germanys, but hopefully get a team like Croatia, hopefully get a team like an African team like what Koloskerish did. He got a friendly against Algeria. I think if we get friendly against Algeria, if we can get friendly against Egypt, Koloskerish is the manager right now, it'd be brilliant. But if we, again, everyone says Uzbekistan again, let's get another 2 friendlies against Uzbekistan. That's not going to do us anything, any good. We need to play against better oppositions to obviously allow the players to understand what the World Cup really means, what the World Cup is. And hopefully the Federation can give us 1 or 2 games, hopefully.
Hope so. I really hope so. Guys, appreciate your time. Sina from Radio Offside, Mohammed from Tupotak. Go and follow them, subscribe to them on YouTube and on their other platforms. Appreciate all the fan questions. Make sure you always send them. If we didn't answer your fan question, it's just running out of time. We'll try and do it for the next podcast. Next match is going to be against South Korea in Seoul on March 24th, followed by March 29th against Lebanon in Azadi Stadium, our final qualification match. We'll be back for more interviews with maybe some national team players, we'll see, and some more podcasts very, very soon. Stay tuned and follow us on all social media and all podcast platforms. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all very soon. Guys, thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Arya. It was a pleasure to be here. And thanks, Mohammed. It was good to talk to you on the pod. I just had one quick comment on Team Melli. I think we should start focusing on using set pieces, because I think we have only scored 3 goals on set pieces from the time that Skočić came. We had like 13 corners in the past 2 matches and we are not using them. That's something that we should work on that.
I totally agree. Mohammed, thanks very much for coming on, man.
Thank you so much, Arya. It's good to talk to Sina, and hopefully Iran wins the group first, and hopefully we get pot 2.
All the best. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, this is Arash Markazi from ESPN, and you're listening to Gholizadeh, your one-stop shop for all your Iranian soccer news.